You have successfully managed to claw your way into the Casa Berenice Recordings podcast, episode 6.
This podcast is our way to release multi-tracked recordings from house concerts that we host in our living room. We being Clay Chaplin and Heather Lockie, and including our Claude friends Xenotron, Fuzzy, Nemesis, and Fluff Nugget. Today's episode features new music by Stoop, otherwise known as Steven Van Betten and Cooper Walken. It was recorded live at a Casa Berenice house concert on April 27, 2019.
Stick around after the set for an interview with Stoop, where they discuss their creative work and house show culture in general.
And now, here's Stoop, performing on electric guitar and drums.
Cooper Wolkin.
I'm Stephen Van Betten.
And we are Stoop. Stoop is a improvising duo. I play the drums and Stephen plays the guitar. Yeah, that's what we do. We improvise on drums and guitar.
So we've been playing together now for half a decade, probably, or more. But this most recent show of ours, we hadn't played Stoop in quite a time, maybe even a year or two. I mean, we have been playing together in other contexts, but we were and improvising with other people in other contexts. But playing together as Stoop improvised had been a while. So I think we were both kind of unsure of how it was going to go, and also very excited to re-enter that space again. And the performance here was really satisfying. It was quite enjoyable.
We didn't talk about it at all, except in passing, saying how excited we were to do it. I think we spend enough time together to be somewhat on the same page, just like, accepting where we've been musically and that it's going to be different and better off not talking about how to approach it.
I mean, we're also both obsessed with songs and song forms, and kind of can treat improvising like playing, like we're writing a song in that moment. I mean, it's fun to become textural and to stretch things out in that sense too, in a more traditionally like improvised way. But it is also fun to just like think about it as you're like writing a song in the moment. It's an interesting role for the guitar, I find, when there's, you're playing electric guitar with drums and no bass. It's easy for people to like automatically want to hear bass there. And I find I get myself in trouble when I try to hear bass as I'm playing and try to like do that role and do a guitar role like in more of a traditional sense. I just can get, it's really hard to do that all at the same time. So I just get myself in trouble. So I find that actually like contextualizing it in my head as a different thing, as like something where the expectation isn't to like hear a bass line necessarily, even though it is fun to like play fuller chords sometimes in that, but like letting it be a thing that a bass doesn't need to happen. And I think, what I love about playing with Cooper in this setting is like he reacts to that in a really nice way, and it's not like he's also not setting up an expectation that there's like should be a bass, and you're like playing like in a rock trio without a bass player or something like that.
It's funny thinking of the lack of instruments as an advantage, because I think something that has occurred to us a lot, he was mentioning like missing a bass part, but also like because of the context you usually hear electric guitar and drum set, and also really being into songs, trying not to sound like a rock band that's missing a singer and missing a bass player. At least the way that I am approaching it, and I think the way Stephen does too, is that we're aiming at making something sound a particular way and not just being weird for weird's sake.
As soon as you start improvising, like as soon as we start, it's like you're sort of just being guided by the improvisation, it feels like, or at least in my seat it does. It's like I'm following, it's like it doesn't feel like I'm guiding anything around. It's like I'm just following this improvisation like through, and that makes for like a very interesting and kind of bizarre like playing experience where you're composing like what the song is telling you to compose.
Yeah, it's like a conversation with the immediate future.
Yeah. Well, it's so hard to know how long you've been playing. Like time is just so hard to tell when you're improvising. It simultaneously feels like it's been like 2 minutes and like 20 minutes all the time. So I don't know. I think something that like I'm really sensitive of is going too long. Like especially in an improvised setting, like I've been like scarred so many times where like I've been witnessing like a freaking awesome improvisation and then it just goes on too long and I'm like, I'm done. Now I hate it.
To me, this is like the ideal place to play that music.
Yeah, actually, like even, I think a living room is the ideal place, and then also like the people who come to your house shows, they sort of they're ready mentally to be patient, and which is such a cool thing.
I have noticed that.
Yeah, and that's
pretty
like,
neat.
That's really
I don't think
unique.
we
special.
didn't intend that. It just has sort of manifested itself because of the kind of people who have been playing here.
I have noticed, I think maybe what you're noticing, which is like a boost in house shows. It seems there's so many house shows. I feel like half, if not more than half, of the shows that I am attending or playing are at someone's house. And I feel so good about that. I can't even tell you. Like, as a musician and as someone who goes to see music, that it's my favorite place to see music, and it's my favorite place to perform. I think house shows to me represent like the health of a music community or the health of a scene. And if there are a lot of house shows happening, that's a very, very good sign. It feels like in like the pyramid of performance opportunities, like house shows are like the bottom of the pyramid in like a very essential way. Like, to be able to like play the kind of set that we played at your house is like, it just creates an opportunity that does not exist at a venue. Like, even at like an open-minded venue like Zebulon, it's just not the same kind of opportunity.
The appeal as a performer to play house shows, I think people can have lots of reasons to go to a venue. Like, they want to go get drunk, or they want to go meet someone, or they want to just go on a date, or they're going to see a headliner and they're just like going to show up late or whatever. But people go to house shows for one reason. It's like to see music, and usually to see all the music of the whole night.
Yeah, I have noticed that.
That's cool. I mean, there is like a disadvantage to the house show culture, is that it is kind of like inclusive. Like, you have to like be in the know, and you can't just like hear a band that you like and then just be like a random person at a venue. There will always be a value and a benefit of like a truly public venue.
There's like this kind of desolate quality both times that I've heard you guys play together. There's this desolation that is really attractive, that I like in so much music, and it seems like less and less music has desolation in it. Not like the emotional desolation, but sonic desolation.
Sorry, you know I'm gonna make fun of you for
this. I like that a lot.
I'm going to Cafe de la Shaded Journal. I'll be back. Sorry.
You clearly are not sick of his jokes.
Yes, no, she's right.
No,
Cooper was gonna say something.
Well, I think
like their music is so desolate. It's amazing. It's so dark.
I mean, spacious.
I think the desert. The desolation.
I meant spacious.
Of the desert
I think.
Let Cooper's trying to actually say something good.
I think that's a beautiful analogy. My personal website is cooperwolken.com. A band that Steven and I are both in, called Kidi Band, is at kidiband.com. That's Kidi band.
My personal website is stevenkaivanbetten.com. Yeah, those are the things. You've successfully clawed your way out of the...
Oh, you've actually listened to this.
Yes, I have.
Fluff Nugget didn't come
Oh my god, hilarious. He does
So
that.
good.
Thank you for joining us on the Casa Berenice Recordings podcast. We would like to thank the musicians for performing and our lovely community here in Northeast LA for attending our concerts.
For more information about our house concerts or our current release catalog, please visit our website, CasaBereniceRecordings.com.
And thank you for listening.